Throughout history, there have been numerous wars, each contributing to the current organization and divisions seen not only in the United States, but all over the world. However, in the United States, there's one conflict that strikes many as arguably the most important and influential battle in the history of the country's development, the Civil War. Although the war occurred in circa 1861 to 1865, there were several factors before this monumental date that led to the final spark that commenced this great rebellion. One of the most notable of these factors was the invention of the cotton gin, a machine that both revolutionized agriculture and accelerated sectional conflict. The cotton gin, created in 1793 by Eli Whitney, was created to meet the growing demands of cotton in the United States and consequentially spread rapidly throughout the South. The manual removal of seeds from cotton fiber inhibited cotton production tremendously, so recognizing the inefficiency, Whitney crafted a device inspired by the manual brushes utilized by enslaved workers, which pulled cotton through a set of wire teeth on a revolving cylinder and sent it through a series of screens which would separate the fibers from the seeds. The invention in its simplicity sparked attraction and led to the recreation of the device all over the United States, despite Whitney's patent. Within a few years, cotton became a predominant cash crop in the South, and production skyrocketed from 1.5 million pounds in 1790 to nearly 85 million pounds by 1810. However, not only did the quantity of cotton increase, but also the quality, as farmers could cultivate longer staple varieties and sell them for more money. This in turn increased the demand for cotton domestically and internationally. Before the creation of the cotton gin, the practice of slavery was decreasing as many thought it would eventually fade out. However, with its invention, more plantations began emerging and previous ones began expanding. Subsequently, the demand for slave labor increased as plantation owners sought to maximize profits by enlarging their labor force. During the constitutional debates of 1787, a compromise was made in Philadelphia agreeing to end the importation of slaves by 1808. By 1807, Congress made this slave importation ban official. However, despite these attempts at intervention, the slave population increased to 4 million in the South during the first cotton boom. As the North's economy grew due to industrialization, railroads, and trade, sectional division between opinions on slavery began to grow between the two sides. Southerners viewed slavery as essential for the economy and the future of the country, whereas the North viewed it as morally and economically backward. Conflicting opinions led to the need for congressional mediation, such as the Missouri Compromise. This compromise dealt with Missouri's statehood, as Missouri was admitted as a slave state and Maine was admitted as a free state, satisfying the equal division of slave and free states. It also established the 36-30 line, dividing the rest of the Louisiana Purchase territory and prohibiting the expansion of slavery north of that line, excluding Missouri itself. These various compromises highlighted the progression of sectional conflicts and sparked the interest of those in the North and South as tensions progressively arose. Many historians throughout the course of the war, and even after the war, expressed their strong opinions about the invention of the cotton gin, including Arthur Bullis Bradford, who claimed if the cotton gin had not been invented, slavery would have been abolished as unprofitable by 1835, and the Civil War would never have taken place. Bradford delivered this message in a speech in January 1875, a couple years after the Civil War, and explained his views on the cotton gin. Without the device, he claimed slavery would not have been revived, nor would it have become economically viable again. With differing opinions on slavery being the leading cause of the Civil War, many agreed with Bradford, and his speech helped unify many in the North under their common beliefs. The abolition of slavery in 1865 under the 13th Amendment eliminated the cruel and unjust punishment, however, it did not remove cotton from the center of the American economy. The practice of sharecropping, or a system where a tenant works on the land for an owner and receives a portion of the crop, was facilitated by the cotton gin's efforts of establishing cotton as the number one cash crop at this time. As agricultural yields continued to rise, several individuals struggled to find jobs and climbed the twisted social hierarchy. This practice continued the cycle of exploitative systems of labor as landowners forced tenants into perpetual debt through their manipulation. Although not being able to take complete fault for the Civil War, the various impacts of the cotton gin dramatically contributed to the battle by raising moral debates and political divide. It made slavery more profitable, more widespread, and overall more heavily debated. However, the question must be pondered. Had the invention of the cotton gin never existed, would the United States be as economically developed as it is today?